Hi, I'm Steven and I'm bad at art. But even though I'm bad at art, I also believe that through deliberate practice, persistence, and a willingness to fail, you can get better at just about anything. And today, I'm going to spend the entire day trying to get better at drawing hands. The goal of today is simple. Spend as much time as physically and mentally possible trying to draw the most realistic looking hand. So it's been about 13 years since I last sat down and seriously tried to draw something in graphite, and it never came that naturally to me. And hands are notoriously difficult to draw. So I think this is going to be really interesting.
But drawing hands is notoriously difficult because a lot of students who begin to draw, they don't really study what they're drawing. If you look at your fingers, they can look like cylinder shapes, or, the palm of the hand, to me, always looks like a slice of bread.
This is Melissa. She is a pencil realist artist and drawing teacher who's going to give me some advice on how to best approach this challenge. What are the main qualities I should focus on when I'm drawing this hand?
Look at the underlying shapes, look at shadows, look at light source, look at all the components that made up that hand to be able to translate it to your drawing.
All right, first things first, I want to get a picture of my hand to use for the reference photo. Oh, I like this. Cool. Okay, this is the image that I'm going to attempt to recreate today. It's a hand that is about to draw an image of a hand. To establish a baseline of my skills, I'm going to first just try drawing a hand without looking at any tutorials and see how it turns out. Honestly, thus far, this is exceeding my initial expectations. As far as like a 2D image, I actually think this is a pretty good start. It's a hand, so that's good. So hopefully shading can make this look nicer. Honestly, this is not that bad for a first attempt. But I also know there's a million ways it could be better. So let's keep trying and seeing where we can go today. Okay, I spent about an hour watching a bunch of tutorials online trying to get as much information as I could. And I've decided to take a different picture. So this is the picture that I'm going to be trying to draw, and I think the reason is that there's a little bit more perspective, it's less flat. There's a lot more contrast, which supposedly makes it easier. And the first thing that I'm going to do, and the main suggestion that I've heard across all these tutorials, is to try and break my hand down into a bunch of individual shapes. I'm just going to see if I can freehand this on a piece of paper and just see what happens. It's amazing how much anatomy is involved in drawing hands, which when I say this sounds like the silliest thought ever, but you have to know anatomy super well to be able to draw anatomy. Man alive, this is so difficult. I have been working on this for 2 hours and it's still not quite there. Okay, I'm pretty happy with how that looks. So now that I've got the basic geometric shape of the hand figured out, I'm going to start adding in the details of the hand, like the fingernails, and try and get like the flat shape of this picture looking really good. Again, I'm not totally certain on how to approach this, but I'm just going to start making stuff and seeing how it goes as we go along. Blend in the pinky, here we go. This is going to be a long road. We're going to get there though. We're going to get there. So I spent about 50 minutes to an hour on this section, and I think it's looking okay, but it's really hard to tell. For the first time, I actually feel like there's hope for this. It's starting to come together and look like a hand. I have hope. I have hope! That looks pretty good. Like, dang. So I'm a little bit worried about adding the hair. It's definitely a feature I have to include. You know what, let's just go for it. Oh my God! That's pretty freaking good! As far as takeaways go for this episode, I think the one that sticks out to me the most is how almost scientific drawing realistic looking hands are. You have to think about the anatomy of your hand, the tendons, the knuckles, where the different joints are, and then in turn, it's almost like mathematical, figuring out the angles and drawing the shapes. And to me, that's really interesting. And then the second big takeaway with this is just the value of patience and spending a ton of time on a project. I think one of the main reasons this looks decent is that I just spent an incredible amount of time working on it, and I learned a lot through the process of spending all that time and making the little adjustments. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
I think that the proportions, other than the pinky, is pretty good.
Okay.
Probably of improvement would be learning maybe how to, the shading.
Okay.
That when you shade, it can actually appear flat.
I thought the shading looked so good.
I've seen a lot of drawings, so I think you did a really good job on it.